Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another first impression review. Sorry, I am your host, Profex, aka CS. Damn, I don't fuck my name up, CSJR, and I have with me.
It's so late now. You messed up your name. What's
Not
up,
only is it late,
Joe?
but I've been drinking too, just a little bit. And we also have with us, you will.
Oh, I didn't even hear Joe introduce some motherfucker. To be Will,
This
man,
is
what's going
starting
on?
off great.
Oh, fantastic, man! Hey, it's late. Got the excuse ready to go. I didn't even hit the sound effect. I pulled it up, and I ain't even get it ready to go. So it's terrible. But Surf has finally dropped, everyone. The sad part is it dropped when all of us were probably real close to going to bed. I know I was. So
Like I was legit. Like I legit got home from the gym, was about to hop in the shower. I was scrolling Twitter and I saw Fader tweet Surf has dropped. I was like, shit.
you got to drop what you're going to listen to. So first
Exactly.
off, let's get the setup for where everybody kind of was before Surf dropped. B. Will, my understanding is you hadn't heard anything from it yet, right?
I have heard no Chance the Rapper music since a homeboy of mine tried to just put me on like 2 or 3 tracks, and even then I was like lukewarm on Chance. I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait. So this was a complete surprise to me.
Okay, gotcha. The only two songs released from the project were Sunday Candy and half of Nothing Came to Me, which they did as like this short film that was kind of cool. And then they did a short film video for Sunday Candy as well, which was really dope.
Yeah. And
And
they,
Joe,
uh, and they, I mean, they released a bunch of songs. It's just that those two were the ones that only made the album because they were releasing songs like back last March
oh yeah,
as
because
the
like they
social
redid
experiment and stuff.
the Arthur theme song and stuff
Hmm.
like that, but
Yeah.
I never thought that I was never 100% certain that those particular tracks would be on the album, of course.
Hmm.
But where were you as far as everything before the album dropped? What has you heard?
Um, I had heard Sunday Candy. I didn't hear the one the what was that? Nothing came to
Nothing
me.
came to me.
Yeah, I didn't hear that or see that video. But I remember hearing like some of those songs, like the Arthur remake, and then the one that really got me hyped for it, and it's not even on here, was "I'm Very Very Lonely." Like I thought that was so dope when I first heard that,
I didn't
and so
listen to
it
that
kind of
one.
got me ready for it.
Yeah, I didn't listen to that one a whole bunch, but it was dope, like the pieces that I heard or whatever. So,
Hmm.
well, let's go ahead and dive on in. It's here, and also, if you have not listened to the album yet, and you haven't looked at the track list yet, stop watching the video because there's going to be spoilers in here, and I want you to experience it if you can the way we experienced
Hmm.
it, where we didn't know what the features were on the album because there's a lot, and they are very surprising from beginning to end. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that's that's the last warning because we're gonna talk about it. But let's go ahead and dive into the. We don't want to do it track by track because it's late and I'm
No.
tired. But basically, the first quarter of the album, like the first four songs on there. How did y'all feel going into it? Like, matter of fact, with B Will, since you were kind of lukewarm on Chance, you probably had no idea what kind of music you were about to hear.
I really did not. Like I said, I heard like Cocoa Butter Kisses. I heard his feature with on Action Bronson's album, and I heard maybe about two more. I was so on him because vocally he wore on me a little bit vocally. Even though I was impressed with just the creativity of his verses, but I mean, I had no idea what to expect, and the fact that it wasn't a Chance, like y'all were like, oh, Surf drop. I'm like, what Surf? You're like Chance. I'm like, okay, and then I see Donnie Trumpet. I was like, I really don't have any idea what this is, so I I like working from that though. I really like coming into these albums not having any expectations. That really helps me receive it a lot better. So I'm
Hmm.
loving what I got from it.
Word. Had you heard of Donnie Trumpet at all before, or Kids These Days, or anything like that?
I had heard that Chance was doing an album with the Social Experiment. That's the extent of my knowledge of everybody but Chance the Rapper.
Gotcha. Um, my first experience with Donnie Trumpet himself was with Kids These Days, which is a band that Vic Mensa was a part of, and they split up.
Oh.
Yeah, they split up, but I think a lot of the remnants of Kids These Days is in the Social Experiment, for the
Okay.
most
Hmm.
part. Um, And the stuff I heard back then was super dope. Like I love live instruments in general, and just everything they did before was really cool. Vic Mensa was con, and then which Vic Mensa is sorely missed on this project. It would have been cool to have him on here, but going into it, Joe, probably you had more of an understanding of what you were getting into because you were familiar with artists and everything.
Yeah, I've heard acid rap, and I'd heard I knew who Donnie was, and I knew who him from Kids These Days. Even though I didn't listen to much of them, I knew that him and Vic and there was work together and stuff. So I was like prepared for the live instruments and the jazz and all that kind of stuff. So
Gotcha. So go ahead and let me know how y'all felt as soon as the album started, like because it doesn't take very long building up at all. It kind of goes right into things. So how did y'all feel as everything got started?
That is the most solid intro that you will ever hear for something with live instruments, I think.
Most definitely, man. I mean, for me, again, not knowing what to expect, I was not put off. I didn't feel like, here we go. Like, I remember somebody was talking about, it was Joe. Joe tweeted, it was like some months ago, he was like, y'all still listening to that D'Angelo album? And it's like, these albums kind of take on this complexion where it's live instruments, so you have to be ready to, like, it's just gonna put you in the vibe. Like, that's all you're gonna do is vibe. You'll have a song that you really like, but it's kind of background music. But this was live instruments that made me listen, and that's such a change. It's like live instruments, usually you enjoy them in person because I mean it's something just organic about live instruments in person. But this right here, I felt like I was still listening to a rap album. And I enjoyed it as much as I did live. Like it was crazy, man. Like I really liked the way it came in. It still felt artistic and musically like that, but it still felt like when the rapping started, I didn't feel like I had to adjust my expectations. Oh, because now it's a rap album instead of a jazz album. No, it was a very coherent mix, and I really like that.
Gotcha. So now that we've mentioned it, there's rapping on this album. And not just from Chance, by the way. We had some surprises early on out the gate.
Can I read like my live tweets of it?
Please
the first
do.
3 of them.
Go for it.
Okay, so for about an hour ago, I said that No Name Gypsy on Warm Enough, as posed as a question, and yes, it was No Name Gypsy who dropped a fantastic verse.
Yes, indeed.
Chance is changing the game and doing it his own way. This is incredible to see. Big Sean is on Wanna Be Cool, and I said that Sean verse on Wanna Be Cool is dope, and Jeremiah singing like 2 lines after Chance was cool. And then I did Caretakers in the first quarter-ish of the album. Didn't know who that was on Caretaker. It turns out it's this guy named Dram, and he spells it out D-R-A-M. He's really good.
Yeah, I'd heard of him, but I never listened to him actively. And also, I do want to point out something. So, when Joe is the catalyst for this. He's the one that told us that Surf dropped, and then he told me it was like I got excited, but then that ended when he said, "Yeah, it's on iTunes," and I was like, "Damn." I was like, they copped out, and we got to buy it off iTunes now. All this time, they said they was going to do all this free music. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to pay for it anyway because the music that they make, I would pay for. And then I get on iTunes, and it's fucking free. And it's like front page. As soon as I hit iTunes, it's like Chance the Rapper, Donnie Trumpet. I was like, what the hell? And it was just like, click, get it. And I had to remake my whole account because fuck iTunes. But... But I got it, and like it's free on there. Somebody put it on Audio Mac, and of course there's links all over the internet and everything. But for them to have independently such a high profile to be dropped on the front page of iTunes like this in the middle of the night, that is fucking amazing. And that lets me know that they've been working behind the scenes, and that's probably partly why we didn't get Surf sooner.
Like when it was supposed to drop, like, because Chance said at one point at the beginning of May or the end of April, I can't remember, Surf will be out this week. And then that week came and went, and then another week came and went, another one, they were just like, all right, whatever.
And they probably were just gonna drop that shit on SoundCloud and let that be that.
Mm-hmm.
But they probably got emails and letters from Tidal, Spotify, and iTunes all wanting to run that album like for free.
You know what that felt like? You remember when Kendrick was supposed to drop Section 80 and it was supposed to drop in like the spring or something?
No,
And then
I
it
was
didn't
behind on
come out.
that one.
And then, well, the thing with Section 80 was it was supposed to drop in like the spring, so about April-ish, I think, when it came out. And it didn't end up dropping until like July, because I remember buying Dom Kennedy's from the West Side of Love 2, and then like a week later, Section 80 came out, and I bought that too. And like I remember, because back then I was just like, fuck this, man. I'm tired of these artists lying to me about when they're gonna drop shit. But now, like, to see, like, he dropped a free project on iTunes, like, that's game-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I mean, you're not getting any pay for this. You are not collecting money per unit sold, but you're on the front fucking page. You don't jump on the front page of iTunes unless you put up some money, man, because you're not making them money. You're not selling anything. Somebody had to front a large amount to get that kind of promo. I mean, isn't that what Beyonce did with her album drop? Surprise drop?
Yeah, something like that. But the flip side of that is and that's them versus everyone. They're not charging for it.
Right,
So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, but with Beyonce's, you still had to pay for it and everything on iTunes. And then it's weird because you would think, I don't know if iTunes has anything in place for plays and getting a cut of the amount of plays that they get. Because, you know, Tidal and Spotify and all of that, they live off of that.
Right.
But I don't know if iTunes
Well, that's
has anything
the
like
thing, because iTunes technically isn't a streaming. They have iTunes Radio, which I'm sure, you know, artists get a percentage of that cut, you know, with the ads and shit. But like iTunes, you download it to your computer and you upload music. You don't stream from it. So, you know, I imagine they're not getting a cut of anything from plays.
Yeah, I definitely want to go deeper into that conversation, but we'll save it for the podcast tomorrow on Nights of the Turntable. Be sure to tune in for that plug. But back to the album. So the No Name Gypsy and J. Cole track is actually about an instant favorite for me off of the album. And when I finished it, that was like the first one that I went back to listen to again. Were there any favorite like verses that y'all had out of that first group of tracks, other than No Name? Because I know Joe mentioned that one.
The Cole verse was very good. I loved it. And I didn't realize it was Cole for the first like 4 or 5 bars. I was like, who is this? And then he started doing like you could hear his voice, like his act, like, you know, his regular rapping voice. And I was just like, oh, this is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Listening to it, Caretaker really stuck out to me. I had not heard Sunday Candy. So that's like the dopest shit ever, man. I mean, I had not heard it. I know you said you heard it. You were like, I think, what was it, Joe that tweeted like it fits better in the context of the album?
Yeah. He said it fit better in sequence.
It's like, man, thank you, somebody make a song for your grandma. Not that you know what, Chance, it made me appreciate, Chance does something that Andre Benjamin does, in that he takes very, very commonplace things and illustrates them in a way you can instantly relate to it. Like Andre Benjamin said in this one verse, but old folks say it so it feels right. It's like, damn, old folks do say stuff a certain way, and then it seems like that's just how it's supposed to be. It's really like black colloquialisms, just black culture colloquialisms, and it feels so natural. Like, you know, you smell like candy, and you love me with hugs, and you love me with hits, and it's like that's your grandma right there. That was a wonderful illustration. I love that. Loved it.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, we were going in order, but B Will listened to the album in the wrong order.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad.
Just so y'all don't get too confused.
It was in the first quarter for me, and I have no idea why my phone did it like that, but yeah.
Word. But like the next few songs, we had Big Sean featured. Well, actually, y'all kind of already went down to Caretaker, but Big Sean's feature I think was pretty cool.
It was, man. You know what?
The Big Sean verse was dope.
Yeah, it was. For real.
Yeah, I think he stepped it up. Like lyrically, everyone did well. Like even Busta Rhymes, and you know.
Thank you. And Busta never said shit. I was like, oh shit. if you can get Buster to actually be lyrically coherent, come on, man, this is outstanding.
You really tapped into something if you got him on there. And like that slip slide song is just a collection of like that's like I'm glad they put that at number 2 and not towards the end because expectations were Chance the Rapper, Donnie Trumpet, Social Experiment, maybe a couple people sprinkled in. But they hit you B.O.B. I'm not a big fan of him, but he did well.
He did.
BJ the Chicago Kid, Janelle Monáe, and Busta Rhymes all on the same track. First off, I was excited as hell to have Janelle Monáe and BJ the Chicago Kid because I feel like they're two of the best singers in music right now, point blank period. But have them on the same track and then just have this huge cast of people, and then and something else clicked with me to see like the track list because I ended up peeking at it like after I got down to track 9. It hit me again. We got this shit for free.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that we're talking about live instrumentation. That means somebody sat in the studio and played this, even though on the tracks where there's no lyrics. Yeah. This is artistry, and somebody decided, here you go, you get this for free. This is not samples where it took your producer like 20 minutes to throw it together, and you didn't make this music. Somebody made this music originally, and you get it for free.
Full piece of work, and it's not even like. And this we've put this in a good area. This doesn't even sound like a really well done mixtape that we would pay for if it was an album. This is a flat out album, like with so much work put into it, but Absolutely. It's free. And
if they were charging $100 a pop to go to shows, I would pay that $100 to see this live.
I would too.
Yeah, I would too.
In a heartbeat.
And I don't go to music. I don't go to concerts no more. And I still would.
Wait. Was your last one TDE?
Hold up. Yes, my last concert was when I saw you out there at the Kendrick show. Yep.
Crazy. But oh man, and the music is just so good, just through and through. And they do flip the vibe up a good bit as well, with some up tempo stuff that's really good. I got to listen to it a few more times to be able to pick specific things out, but I do like that familiar track. And I don't like Migos. Know it.
Quavo.
It fit, like they fit.
But it fit. Oh my
God. But like it's like I was saying before the show started. Chance got King Louis and Quavo to fit his style. He got them to do his style on this, and that's why it worked.
And then like even though you're right, they had to fit his style, they still sounded like themselves.
Right.
Because like I haven't listened to King Louis that much, but Migos, like it still had the ad libs and everything that you normally hear with Migos. And it
what I didn't hear though?
What's that?
I didn't hear Quavo shout out Mama.
I gotta listen to it again. Because I do know that I think it was you that told me that he does that on every song.
He shouts out Mama damn near every song. So I don't remember hearing it. I could be wrong though.
Word. That was just a mistaken omission on his part. But had you listened to Migos or anything, B-Will?
Man, I try not to, man. Because when folks rave too much about somebody and they don't speak a lot of English, I try to stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I was not. Let's just say because when I got the files, there was no featuring. I saw nothing. I put it on and I let it ride, even though it was out of order. Nobody ever seemed out of place. Like it took me a minute to place Cole on that other track too, and then I was listening to the slip side. I was like, "Is this Busta?" But why can I understand what he's saying? Why are his lyrics making sense right now? Nobody was out of pocket. That's such a tremendous up to really the producer and whoever. I don't know how much credit Chance gets as an artist on the album. I don't know if he coordinates all the features. I don't know if the person who makes the track, like I really heard so and so being on this. It worked. They did a marvelous job. The only other person I know who does this well, he might be the best at it, is Kanye when he puts people on. If you hear Patti LaBelle's gonna be on the track, did you hear Roses? Before you heard Roses, could you imagine that? No. Did it work? Absolutely. It was so flawless when he puts people on. And this was very, very close to what he does with artists when he brings them on albums.
That's a fantastic comparison. Now, if I ever get the chance to interview Chance, I definitely want to ask him how many times did he have to say no to Busta Rhymes and spray him with the little like animal water bottle with the verses before he did a verse that was fitting to go here. Just like every time he started spitting and just saying just ink in here and shit, just like no.
I always wonder how that works when you got somebody who has so much clout, who's been in the game so long, and you want to do something with them, and you're new and they're not. If they do something and it's not up to par, do you say, "Nah, that shit ain't gonna work, man"? Like, can you say that?
But the thing with Busta is he hasn't been relevant in like 5, 6, 7 years. So I mean, he kind of has to do what you say.
But that's what. Even still, like when people see when young artists see Busta, do they go, "Hey, man, you washed up as hell, but I fucks with that woo-ha"? You know, I don't know how that goes. I don't think that's how that goes, you know what I'm saying? So even though he's not relevant, especially if you're gonna go seek him out and say, "Hey, I really want to work with you," or I don't know if maybe the artist who's older says, "Man, I feel what you're doing. This is all new. I want to work with you." I don't know how it works, but it really makes me wonder who has creative control. When I hear somebody fit so well, I think the producers have a lot to do with that. Like when you say, "Hey, I got a song for you," that means you wrote this, you got the beat laid out, you got the vibe for it, and you know so-and-so is going to fit there, or else you wouldn't even do it. You wouldn't even ask him.
And Chance executive produced the album, so he had final say for everything.
Yeah.
And he probably, that's a nice way to put it, because you probably go to Busta Rhymes and be like, "Yo, we need that old bus." Like,
yeah.
we need the old Busta Rhymes, like, before that feature verse on that Chris Brown song, before the album, before that, we need at least go back to Big Bang.
Yeah.
And some around that and before.
You know what else was dope was like, you know how sometimes artists put these like interludes or like, just instrumentals like sprinkled throughout the project to kind of like switch things up, and sometimes it sounds out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like this album, it was enhanced by those certain tracks.
Absolutely, and that's the difference for me. Like, and I'm making this comparison strictly from a musical standpoint. Like when you put on "To Pimp a Butterfly," I can't remember the name of it because I just listened to the songs when he's saying "This dick ain't free." Like that was jarring at the beginning. It was like
yeah.
When, I mean, and that was kind of the purpose. I'm sure was you're not supposed to get comfortable. You need to be listening. You know what I'm saying? But this one was not that. It was like, all right, I was expecting to hear lyrics, but when I didn't hear the lyrics, I wasn't thrown off that all I heard was a trumpet and some keys on that. You know what I'm saying? It was like it kept me in the mood. I wasn't waiting for another rap verse. I was just enjoying the ride. Like it was dope.
Yeah, true that. And nothing came to me. I guess because I'd seen that video, I already had like a mental image of like the emotion and stuff like that from that visual to kind of put me in that mood. But even then, after the first half of that track, it really flowed really well. It sounded amazing. Something came to me was a bit more jarring than nothing came to me.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because of the pitch that it kind of stayed on. I need to listen to it again to kind of get better understanding because I get the idea of the songs and stuff. I just didn't get the same feeling from Something Came to Me as I got from Nothing Came to Me. Now, as far as features, was there a favorite feature from a person that you had not heard before that stood out to you on here? Like a person that you didn't know?
Drama on Caretaker.
Drama on Caretaker, righteous. Technically, that was my first time hearing him too, and most of the other people on here I have already heard. So it'd be between Drum, Quavo, and King Louis. So I'm gonna go with Drum too. B. Will, how about you?
I had not heard half the motherfuckers on here, so nobody was a letdown. There was not one point where I said, "Ah, man, he ruined the song." Like everybody fit, everything worked. So I must say, because I was anti-Migos just from the hype, I did not mind at all listening to Quavo on that song. Like that, did not mind at all. That worked for me.
Gotcha. As far as like the artists that you hadn't heard, I gotta put you on some projects, man.
Man, please do.
That's a lot coming from B. Will, because he's in Get Off My Lawn Twitter.
I am. I absolutely am. Damn it.
That is true. So, all right. So let's dive into the last portion of the album. On our end, the Sunday Candy is in the last portion of the album.
Right.
But we will have it at the beginning. That's all good. But basically, from Something Came to Me, Rememory, which had Erykah Badu on there.
I knew
That
that
flip
was
was nice.
dude.
That
knew
flip
that
was
Erykah Badu.
nice.
That joint is fire. And Sunday Candy, and then Pass the Vibes, which the only problem I had with Pass the Vibes is it was short. It was shorter than I expected it to be. I expected them to have some grand orchestration to close out the project. Not saying Pass the Vibes was bad, but that's just the way Miracle came in. I kind of expected it to go out the same way. But Pass the Vibes is good, and Sunday Candy, two-piecing it at the end with that, fantastic way to close out the project. I really hated that the album was over. I could, like, if they were playing, like, I'd be like, hey, encore, whole crowd. They got to come back on stage and do some more tracks because it's dope. But how'd y'all feel about the last bit?
It was the Erykah Badu thing, because I was listening, because that was about the time that I looked at the track list, because I was posting it on my site too, and I was I saw Erykah Badu on there, and I was like, okay, where is she at? And then the beat, it flipped, and then Badu started singing, and I was like, man, that's like, it was just the last quarter of it is just beautiful. And like you said, Past the Vibes, it should have been a little bit longer. I was actually hoping that the album was going to end with like lyrics, like it was going to be like an actual like song instead of like instrumentation. Because I was scrolling and I was listening and it was like, you know what I haven't heard? I haven't heard like an Alex Wiley verse. I haven't heard a Mick Jenkins verse. I haven't heard a Vic Mensa verse. Like I hadn't heard like these other Chicago artists.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of curious, and so like that was kind of like, that's the one thing, like, and I realize that I'm nitpicking about this, but that's like the one thing that I'm just like, I wish that there were more Chicago artists on this.
Well, for me, it was like I'm listening to the last four, and I'm with you, Charles. It's like the last four, Past the Vibes. Number one, because it was called Past the Vibes, and I saw like it was the last one on my list too, even though the rest of my track list was wrong. And I was like, oh man, this is dope right here. I just like that he said the vibraphone. He kind of freaked it with the music thing and used the vibraphone. I was like, this is pretty dope. I expected it to ride so long just on a musical tip. And I was like, oh man, like I was mad I ran out of album.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Because when the beat dropped out, I really just sat there like looking at my phone, like, is it gonna come in with like a secret song or something?
Right.
On this joint, but it didn't happen. Like, and that's a testament to how good the rest of the album is.
Yeah, it really is. There are no skippies on it.
I was just about to ask, did y'all have any tracks that y'all would have just had to skip or anything?
No, because the thing is, this is one of those albums, you compare it to, like a To Pimp a Butterfly or like something else where you have to listen from like start to finish. Like you can listen to the song, but it flows so much better and it makes so much more sense if you play it from start to finish. This is one of those albums you put on when you want to clean.
Word.
Right.
Because that's technically what I was doing. I was cooking and cleaning while I was listening to it. But yeah, there's nothing on there. There's not one track that I felt like. There weren't even any tracks that I listened to in their entirety and I was like, I'm probably not going to come back to this. I knew that I could listen to it just straight through.
Yep.
Like going through. And I'm, as soon as we get out this video, I'm going to be doing that. Even though I need to go to sleep because I got to get up at 5 in the morning. I'm going to listen to the album again. But so, would y'all recommend it? I already know the answer.
Absolutely.
You know what? It would have been easier to say, what don't we like about the album?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the only thing that we dislike is that certain people aren't on it. That's what we came down to.
Yeah.
Not having Mick Jenkins and not having Vic.
Yep, and it's so like weird that we all agree like on the exact same stuff about the album. Like it's just one of those it's just a feel good album, man. It's just
man.
You put this on like you're in a bad mood. Like my feel good album, no matter what. Like I could be in the shittiest mood, I could be stressed. Purple Rain. Like I'll put on Purple Rain, play it front to back, and I'm good after those 40 minutes. This is another one of those.
Yeah.
You throw this bad mood, you're having a bad day, throw this on, you're gonna instantly cheer up.
Yeah, it's a mood enhancer, and my go-to is Project Pat, Mr. Don't Play. It's mine.
Oh, word. All right. Any final statements, guys? We'll start with you, Joe.
I mean, we don't got to tell you to support it because it's free. Go download it.
Absolutely, man. Get your download on. Have yourself a really good day at work tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure we all will because of this.
Yep.
Yeah, word to that. But yeah, hit the annotation in the top right if y'all want to donate. If you're watching this after we do the video, hit us on YouTube. Hit the Koalition.com. Hit the comment section. Let us know what you think about the album. We like you said, we don't have to ask if you're gonna buy it or support it. It is free. It is free, and it is worth every dime that we should have paid for it. But it is free, and they put it out. They stood by their word. That's what they wanted to do. This is going to be game-changing, I feel, and we're definitely going to talk about it some more on the Nights of the Turntable. Tune into that tomorrow evening. But thank y'all for watching, and we will catch y'all next time.
Yep.